Hello everybody and welcome back to part 2 of this part 9 series of the train station. As always, I am your host A-Train, and if you guys seen my last video, I did the NFC North. Now it's time to do the NFC East. This is probably one of the easier divisions in my opinion to figure out, which is why I wanted to just get it out of the way. So it's the Cowboys, the Giants, the Eagles, and the Washington Commanders, or whatever you call them nowadays. Washington, D.C., which is in Landover, Maryland, so I'm not sure why they call themselves Washington, D.C. when they're not actually in D.C. But that's a story for another day. A much improved division from what it used to be. It used to be called the NFC East just a few years ago. But ever since, it's been a much improved division. Eagles coming off that Super Bowl appearance against the Kansas City Chiefs just last year. Jalen Hurts agreeing to a massive contract extension that keeps him in Philly for the long run. Washington is going to have some quarterback troubles. New York, is Daniel Jones actually that guy? You paid him to be that guy, but is he actually that guy? We got to find out. And the Cowboys, well, they're the Cowboys, and as long as Dak Prescott is in charge, or not in charge, but as long as Dak Prescott is the quarterback in Dallas, Dallas will not win. So before I get any further into this video, Dallas Cowboys, the season hasn't started, but have officially been eliminated from Super Bowl contention. Just wanted to get that out of the way. I'm going to talk about all these teams and then get into it. Eagles, by far, should win the division. Like I said, Jalen Hurts, massive contract extension. They lost a few key pieces, but they easily replaced them in the draft. Jalen Carter, another Georgia defensive lineman, another Georgia defensive lineman and defensive player to go to the Eagles. Howie Roseman has said over and over again, as the Eagles GM, he might have been kicked out of the Florida committee because of all the Georgia players he's drafting. But good teams always find a way to rebuild and reload. Well, not rebuild, but reload. Eagles are doing just that and reloading. Should be another big season for the Eagles. I'm saying 12, 13, maybe even 14 wins for the Eagles. I'll give my prediction right now. I think they go 14-3, and have arguably one of the best records in the NFL. They're still that good of a team. Jalen Hurts is that quarterback, and he will lead them to great things and a potential another Super Bowl appearance on the way. Moving over to the team I least like to talk about, the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody here knows I am probably the number one Dallas Cowboy hater. However, I'm going to give my honest thoughts about the Cowboys. Should be a playoff team. Dallas Cowboys have a decent roster in place. Decent secondary, decent defense. I think where they're going to struggle, though, is surprisingly offensively. Dak Prescott played 5 less games than every other quarterback last year that started, yet threw more picks than anybody else. So when you have a quarterback like that who throws more picks than touchdowns and played 5 less games than every other starting quarterback, that's a problem. And Dallas is going to continue to have that problem with Dak Prescott under center, especially now with their guard Zach Martin holding out for a contract extension, one of the best guards in the NFL. So if they can't come to an agreement with him, Dak Prescott's going to probably throw even more interceptions with arguably his best lineman out waiting to get a contract extension. However, I do think this Dallas team still has enough talent to make the playoffs. I could see 10, 11 wins max, but anywhere from 8 to 11 wins. I'm going to go ahead and say they're going to get the max of 11 wins and make the playoffs behind the Eagles, but I think it'll be another first round and out kind of thing for Dallas like it normally is, or they win the first round of the playoffs and then lose. But it's not going to be another deep playoff run for the Cowboys. I've learned, but I don't know if the Cowboys fans in the national media have learned yet. This isn't the Cowboys' year. Next year is not the Cowboys' year. The year after that is not the Cowboys' year. So if they just, stop doing that, stop, thinking the Cowboys are all that, good things will probably happen for the Cowboys. But like I said, as long as Dak Prescott is under center for the Dallas Cowboys, expect them to have good, not great, and just above mediocre seasons. Also, I love Jerry Jones. I hope he never retires, and I hope he never sells the team. Obviously, he's going to have to pass away at some point, but I hope his son takes over after that. And I hope the Jones family continues to run the Cowboys for years and years and years and years to come, so that they can continue to rot in mediocrity, giving their fans some sort of hope just to tear that hope all away, to give me content to laugh at. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. Moving on to the Giants, a team that made the playoffs a year ago. I don't know if they're going to make it this year. I see about 7 to 9 wins for the Giants this year. They're not that much improved. They paid Daniel Jones a crap ton of money, and you're having problems with Saquon Barkley, who wants to stay a Giant, but you're not willing to pay him, even though Daniel Jones is literally better with Saquon Barkley in the backfield. So if you take away Saquon Barkley next year when he leaves off of the franchise tag, Daniel Jones would really then have to prove. So I think the Giants will be fine this year with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, but I think next year is going to be the real case for them, especially if they don't re-sign Saquon. But 7 to 9 wins is probably the ceiling for the Giants. A good, not great team. And then there's the Washington Commanders, Washington football team, whatever you want to call them. Rumors are with new owners as Dan Schneider has finally sold the team. There's rumors they're going to change the name again. So who knows what it's going to be at this point. Quarterback, the biggest issue for the Commanders. Sam Howell will probably get the start, and we're really not sure how he's going to pan out. He could be good, he could be bad, but they just have too many question marks. They have great wide receivers, but defensively they have too many question marks. Chase Young, rumored that he could be traded away, their best defensive player. So there's a lot going on in Washington. New owners are going to need some time to rebuild this team, and they could potentially blow it up for a guy like Caleb Williams in the draft next year. But I just overall I don't really see a big time talented team with with Washington. So 6 to 8 wins max is what I think their ceiling is, and it's just because they just don't have a lot of there's talent there, but they're like a quarterback or so away from really being a legitimate threat. So their defense might and will win them enough games, but overall talent-wise, I just don't see them winning a lot of games, especially in a division where the Cowboys are good enough to win games. The Giants, can win a lot of games, and the Eagles are probably, if not the best team in the NFL, one of the best teams in the NFL. So it should be a rough year for Washington. And that's what I have about each team. So let's go over each team again. The Eagles, like I said, I think 14-3 for the Eagles. So 11-6 for the Cowboys with a probably early playoff loss. 9-8 for the Giants, and then 6-11 for Washington. Those are my predictions. Hope you guys enjoyed part 2. Part 3 will be coming out soon. It's either going to be, I believe it's probably going to be the NFC South. I believe that one would be next in line, and then obviously the NFC West would be later on in the week. Also, very, very close to announcing a new series on the channel, so just continue to stay tuned for that. I appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you guys for the next one.